Hi, this is Ike from Groovy Entertainment. Today we got another book to read for you. Today, book Dumbo from 1947. So let's get started. It was spring. Spring in the circus. Everyone was singing. Everyone was happy. Happiest of all was Mrs. Jumbo, for in her stall in the circus train was a chubby, brand new baby elephant. Fought the other animals called the baby Dumbo. His mother loved him dearly, even though his ears was big. All aboard, shouted the ringmaster. After a long winter rest, it was time to set out again on the open road. Toot toot, whistled Casey Jones, the locomotion of the circus train, and with a jiggly jerk and a brisk puff puff, off speed Casey Jones. It was dark when Casey Jones whistled and puffed into the station. Rain poured down hard, but the circus began to unload. The workmen jumped down from the freight cars. They lit torches and stuck them in the ground. Men and animals came bursting out of the train into the windy, wet night. They all helped to get the circus tent up. Even Mrs. Jumbo knew baby helped. By morning, the rain had stopped and the tent was all set up, and the circus was busy getting ready for the big parade. The band played, everyone felt in line. Then off pranced the gay purse down the main street. There was creamy white horses, licorice colored sills. There was lady acrobats in the pink silk tights, lying pacing in their wagon cages. Elephant marched with slow, even steps. The crowd on the sidewalk cheered. Then suddenly their eyes opened wide. They craned their necks. Look, look, they cried. Look at that silly animal with the jaggy ears. He can't be an elephant. He must be a clown. They burst out in loud laughter. Sadly, Dumbo toddled behind his mother, with his trunk clasped to her tail. He tried to hurry along faster so he wouldn't hear the laughter, but he stumbled. He tripped over his ears. Down he splashed into a puddle of mud. Now the crowd laughed even louder. Mrs. Jumbo scored at them. She picked up Dumbo, she picked Dumbo up and carried him into her trunk the rest of the way. When the parade finally came back to the tent, Mrs. Jumbo put Dumbo in her wooden bathtub, and as she scrubbed, she whispered comforting words. A gang of noisy boys came pushing in first for the afternoon show. We want to see the elephant, they yelled. The one with the sailboat ears. Look, there he is. A boy grabbed one of Dumbo's ears and pulled it hard. Then he made an ugly face and stuck out his tongue. Mrs. Jumbo couldn't stand it. She snatched the boy up with her trunk, dropped him across the rope, and spanked him hard. Help, he cried. Help, help. What's going on here? Cried the ringmaster, and snapped his whip at Mrs. Jumbo. Tie her down, he yelled. Mrs. Jumbo reared on her hind legs, but soon she was behind the bars in the prison wagon with a big sign that said, "Danger, mad elephant, keep out." The next day, they made Dumbo into a clown. They painted his face with a foolish grin and dressed him in a baby dress. On his head, they put a bonnet. They used him in the most ridiculous act in the show, a make believe fire. He had to jump from the top of a brazen cardboard home or house down into a fireman net. The audience thought it was a great joke, but Dumbo felt disgraced. He's a disgrace to us, the big elephant agreed, and turned their backs on him. Hiding in a pile of hay was Timothy Mouse, the smallest animal with the circus. They can't treat the little fellow like that way, he muttered. Not while Timothy Mouse is around. Hey there, little fellow, he called to Dumbo. Don't be afraid. I'm your friend. I want to help you. Say, he went on, staring at Jumbo's ears. Those ears are as good as wings. I'll teach you to fly. Quickly, Dumbo and Timothy creeped out of the tent to Mother Jumbo. Dumbo tell Dumbo told her all about the clown act and how unhappy he was without her, and about the wonderful idea Timothy had for making him a success. Then sadly, they said good night, and Timothy and Dumbo continued on their way. With Timothy as teacher, Dumbo Patrick running and jumping and hopping, he tried slow and fast. Take off and standing and running jumps. He stretched out his wings and flapped them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then he tried the whole thing together. But hard as he tried, Dumbo could not leave the ground. At last, almost too tired to stand, the two friends gave up and started grooming back toward the sleeping circus. Don't worry, Dumbo, Timothy whispered as he cleared up on Dumbo's hat brim. For a good night's sleep, we'll have you flying yet. When the morning sun arose, Timothy was the first to awaken. He blinked and looked up. Just above him, four old black crows sat and stared at him. Why, yelled Timothy, rubbing his eyes. Where am I? You're up here in our tree, snapped the crows crossly. That's where you are. Tree, gasped Timothy. He looked around. Sure enough, there he was, sitting on a branch. He and Dumbo was up in the tree. The ground was far, far below, but how did we get up here? He stammered. How? Cracked the crows. You and that elephant just came a flying up. Flying? Timothy yelled. Dumbo, wake up, Dumbo. We are up in the tree. You flew here. Slowly, Dumbo opened his eyes. He glanced down. He gulped. Then he struggled to his feet. But suddenly, he slipped on a smooth tree branch and fell down, down, down. He bounced from branch to branch, with Timothy clinging to his trunk. Plunk! They landed in a swallow pond, just underneath the tree. The crow chuckled and crawled from above. Timothy scrambled up out of the water and wranged out Dumbo's tail. Dumbo, he chanted, you fly. If you can fly when you are asleep, you can fly when you're awake. Your ears, Dumbo, they are your fortune. He grabbed one of Dumbo's wet ears and patted it. You won't be a clown anymore. You'll be famous. The flying elephant in the whole wide world. And Timothy and Dumbo began all over again to Patrick flying. But it wasn't easy. Time after time, Dumbo tried to take off. Time after time, out flat on his face. Soon the crows began to feel sorry for the little fellow. When Timothy told them all about the sad things that had happened to Dumbo because of his big ears, they flew down and offered to help. One of the crow took Timothy aside. Flying just like swimming, he whispered. It's just a matter of believing you can do it. He turned and snatched a long black feather from his tail. Here, take this. Tell the baby elephant it's a magic feather. Tell him if he holds it, he can fly. The boss crow winked and flew off. Timothy handed Dumbo the feather and scurried up his trunk to the brim of his cap. He held his breath. The trick worked, like a charm. The very instant that Dumbo wrapped the tip of his trunk around the feather, flap, 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 went his ears. Up into the air, he soared like a bird. Over the tallest treetop, he sailed. He glided, he dipped, he dived 3 times. He circled over the head of the cheering crowd, all crows. Then he headed back to the circus ground. Timothy shouted, "We must keep your flying a secret. It's a prize for your act in the afternoon show." No one noticed Dumbo when he and Timothy came quietly back. It was already time for Dumbo to get into his costume. Inside the walls of a cardboard house, he had to wait all through the show until the fire cracked up around him. At last, Timothy leaned down and handed him the feather. Cracked the fire. The cloud act was on. Flames shot up around the cardboard house. Cling, cling, roared the clown fire engine, rushing toward the blaze. From the far end of the ring, a red-headed mother clown came running. "Save my baby," she screamed. "He's on the top floor." The firemen bought a big net and held it out. "Jump, my darling baby, jump," shrieked the mother crowd. Dumbo jumped, but as he jumped, the black feather slipped from his trunk and floated away. Now his magic was gone, and Dumbo plunged down like a stone. Timothy saw the feather go. "The feather's fake," he shouted frantically to Dumbo. "You can fly." Dumbo heard the shout and doubtfully spread his ears wide. Not 2 feet above the net, he stopped his plunging and swooped up in the air. A mighty gasp rose from the audience. They knew it couldn't be, but it was Dumbo was flying. While the cloud roared in delight, Dumbo did power dives, loops spin, and barren rose. He swooped down to pick up the peanuts and squirted a trunk full of water on the clowns. The keeper freed Mrs. Jumbo and brought her to the tent and trumpet to see her baby fly. So all Dumbo's worries had come to an end. By evening, Dumbo was a hero from coast to coast. Timothy became his manager and saw too that Dumbo got a wonderful contract with a big salary and a pension for his mother. The circus renamed Dumbo Flying Circus. And Dumbo traveled in a special steamline car, but best of all, he forgave everyone who had been unkind to him. From his heart was as big as his ears. So that was Dumbo from 1947. So please like, subscribe, share, and comment. Have a groovy day with another video coming out real soon.